Hello and welcome to today's video. In this video, we will learn about the trophic levels. So, trophic level is basically a rank or a position that an organism or a whole group of organism will occupy in the food chain depending upon its feeding behavior. Okay. So, the trophic level is a rank or a position. Now, by food chain I mean the succession of an organism in which it is eating and in turn it is being eaten by a larger organism. Okay. So, the trophic levels will depend upon the food chain or the feeding behavior of an organism. The trophic levels are divided into the following types. The first trophic level is generally occupied by the producers. Now, what are producers? Producers are those organisms which will harness the solar energy and it will produce their own food. So, for example, the producers can be the autotrophs. Okay, the producers are the autotrophs. For example, we have the green plants, algae, phytoplanktons, etc. Okay. So, producers hold a very important position in running of the whole trophic level or in running of the whole food chain, because the producers will produce the food with the help of sunlight, which in turn will be given or provided to the next trophic levels. So, all the other trophic levels that will follow up the producers will be the consumers. Okay. The next trophic level we have the consumers. So, producers will hold the first trophic level and all the other trophic levels will be occupied by the consumers. Now, in consumers, the first we have is the herbivores. The herbivores are those organisms which will directly eat upon the food that are produced by the producers. Okay. So, the herbivores will occupy the second rank or the second position in the food chain or in the trophic level. Also, the herbivores can also be called or known as the primary consumers. Okay. Now, after the herbivores, we have the carnivores. These carnivores will then occupy the third and the fourth trophic level, and in turn they are known as the secondary consumers and the tertiary consumers. Okay. The finalmost apex or the finalmost position of a trophic level are generally occupied by the apex predators. The apex predators are the topmost predators which are not eaten naturally by an organism. Okay. So, they will hold the fifth position in the trophic level. If for example, we look into a natural convenient trophic level, it can be shown as I have mentioned that the first trophic level will be occupied by the producers. Okay. So, in this case, for example, grass. The next trophic level will be occupied by the consumers or the herbivores. For example, the grasshopper. The grasshopper will then be eaten up by a lizard, which in turn will be eaten up by a snake, and eagle here is generally the apex predator. Okay. So, this is a convenient or most common example that we can see in nature. Okay. So, this is a example of different trophic levels. Now, if you can see that the shape of this trophic levels is somewhat like a pyramid with a broad base and a pinnacle top. Now, what does this indicate? If you can remember the very known 10% law of energy flow, which says that from one trophic level to the next trophic level, only 10% of energy is provided to the next trophic level. Okay. The 10% law says that while moving from one trophic level to next trophic level, the succeeding trophic level will get only 10% of the energy. Okay. So, if we consider the 10% law, so we can here see that how the amount of energy is being gradually decreasing, as a result of which we have a pyramid like structure. So, this structure is also known as the trophic pyramid. Okay. Also, to be kept in mind is that each trophic level is always occupied by a number of species. Okay. Not only one species will occupy a single trophic level, a number of species might come under that. So, an organism can have same feeding habit with that of an other organism, but sometimes what happens, the resource which they take in can be different. For example, if I say in case of herbivores, there might be some herbivores which will eat the fruit, there might be some herbivores which will eat the seeds, and some might in turn eat the grass. Okay. They will come under the second trophic level, which is the herbivore, but they will have a different feeding behavior or a different resource on which they feed. Okay. Also, a group of species that will feed upon the same resources are known as guild. Okay. So, what is a guild? A guild is a group of different species which have the same feeding behavior. For example, we might have a guild of nectar feeding insects, we might have a guild of seed consuming birds. Okay. So, different species, but which will consume the same resource will fall under guild. Okay. So, in this video we have got an idea about what is a trophic level, how the energy or how one trophic level is succeeded by a different trophic level, how the whole trophic level is actually run by the solar energy or is mostly dependent upon the producers which will harness the solar energy. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Thank you.